know why people take this as a really big disclosure that, oh my god, you were from science, how did you come into commerce? And we often think that, it's good to judge people, it's so much of fun. If you want to achieve something in a shorter time frame, you will be able to do it. You are your own judge. So all of these numbers are just numbers in my mind, because if I would have cared about the numbers, I don't believe that I would have reached where I am today. Because the more you focus on these unnatural things like numbers, tractions, people's reactions, which are all unpredictable, the more you fall into its pitfall. Just be yourself on the platform, just express what you feel like, but also keep in mind that since it's a people's platform, you also need to consider what people will love reading. So I think that's what I did. I started with writing on philosophy, which only got me 3 likes in my first post, but I didn't give up. Of course, it was sad to see that people didn't react to it, but then sooner or later, I realized that it's not the likes that matter, but what matters is that I'm going out on the platform, I'm putting out my thoughts there. People will eventually see it. You also need to give them time, you know. And then I started seeing the results. And this thought was only given to me by my friends, by my peer group in college. So I feel that they also have played an equal and important role in making me reach where I am today. So it's very important to have the right kind of friends while you're in your college so that you have the right impact of them in your life and you don't get influenced negatively. But yeah, I think that's how the journey has been. There's no secret sauce. The only thing that has got me here is consistency and sticking to what I love doing, not something what I'm doing just for showing off or just for the likes or the traction of it. Oh, that's quite an interesting question. You are making me travel back in time and live into my soul, which knew nothing back then. So, 2-3 years back, I was very new to the platform, and it wasn't by will that I came on LinkedIn, but it was mandatory for me to be on the platform as I was a part of my entrepreneurship cell in my college. And there, the only way to reach the corporates was through LinkedIn, and that's how I came on the platform. And I really didn't know what to do with the platform. It just seemed too boring to me. Just as any college kid, even I was the one who loved to be on Instagram and just loved scrolling through memes, reading different things. Even my news platform was Instagram, for that matter. I didn't even read newspapers. But then, life changes for everyone. It changed for me also. And when I became a part of the representative, which is my friend's venture, that is when I started referring to news articles, daily newspapers, and understood that this is what I need to write on. Every time you have this fear of doing something similar, and you always are wanting to do something different in life, but I really never bothered about it. I always did the same thing. Like, I always believed in doing ordinary things extraordinarily. And I think that is what I did in my content as well. But I feel that when we say that writing is an art, art in itself is something which is very synonymous to freedom. When you have freedom of thoughts, when you freely express what you feel like, that's when your creativity comes out, which is nothing but art. So I feel that if I would be giving any advice, it would be like giving or putting restriction to somebody's creativity. So I wouldn't give any advice, but just follow your heart, just follow your mind. Don't really feel low about not getting people's attention or not getting traction. It's all very superficial. At the end of the day, what matters is how satisfied are you with your thoughts and your writing. So I think if you follow all these things, automatically that will show up in your writing, because then you will become more fearless. You will start writing more, and that's how you will build upon your consistency. That is the, unknown secret to success. The word is very known, that is consistency, but many people don't know that it is consistency that gets people places. So yeah, that would be my answer to your question. We feel upset when we don't get the results as expected. Your answer lies in the question itself, that the reason why you are disappointed is because you expected things to happen in a certain way. And because they didn't happen, that's why you are upset. So just stop expecting. That's the only answer. I mean, just go with the flow, have confidence in whatever you do. And if things don't happen, take it in stride, take it positively, and think that this has happened for good. Honestly speaking, I didn't have any clue of getting into commerce background. It was science that always attracted me. I wanted to do something in biotechnology, but ended up doing BMS. My first few days of college was really bad because I didn't know where am I. I didn't know that if this is something I want to do, because most of my peers in college, they already had this set goal in mind that they want to do MBA after college, or they want to pursue business. But I was totally lost, and I couldn't find my way out. But still, I gave it time. I watched, I observed, I listened to people around, and I think that has really helped me grow. Otherwise, if I would have just listened to myself, I would have not grown. So I don't know why people take this as a really big disclosure that, oh my God, you were from science. How did you come into commerce? I mean, why can't people explore different avenues? It's just knowledge. And if you want to understand different aspects, go for it. I mean, nobody is stopping you. And it doesn't matter if you're from science, if you switch to commerce and then to arts, you won't make your career into anything. It's just up to your dedication and how you present yourself. So I was quite interested in knowing about how our space works, how our body functions. And I couldn't know it unless and until I studied science in depth. And that's the reason why I chose to go for science and not commerce in the first place, because I knew that I can switch to commerce later on. There's still time in my hand, so why don't I read something that I'm really passionate about? So that's what made me study science till 12th, and also made me appear for the entrance exam of MBBS. Although I didn't want to do MBBS, but what I wanted to do is seek knowledge of what MBBS would entail. So we I still remember that we used to have two classes in our college for science stream. One was for people who are preparing for NEET, and one was for people who were just studying basic science curriculum. So I used to always go in the other class where the needs portion was spoken about, because I think that if I am gaining higher knowledge somewhere, so why not go and sit there? So I think, and I'll tell you this one story also. I had opted for commerce, now that I didn't, but my first 2 days were so devastating and so draining for me. I couldn't understand what was being taught in the commerce class, and I really didn't want to understand. Every human being can understand things if they want to, but I really didn't have interest in commerce. So I just switched to science. I told my principal, I know I've chosen commerce, but let me go to the science class. I think my interest lies there. And that's how I landed up there. And examination, like I said, I didn't give to, crack any medical college or get into any of those professions, but just for the sake of consuming knowledge, just to become a better human being, I pursued that. And management I chose after that, because, like I said, I knew that I wanted to do commerce, but only after studying science for a while. So, instead of going for biotechnology or BSc, something of that sort, I chose to study management, because I knew that I will be doing something in business only for a longer period of time. But given the fact that I'm still studying management, it doesn't mean that I have lost touch with science. I am still studying different kind of neuroscience patterns, some kinds of bodily structures, because my interest will always lie. It will never die. So I think that's what I'm doing right now. And yeah, because I was clear in my path and the objectives, I just knew my way, and that's how I flipped from one side to the other. So I think for others also, they need to be clear. If they're taking science, then they should also know the next steps. So people who only are lost or who only fail are those who really don't know what needs to be done next. So always think ahead of time. It will always keep you on the edge and make you have a competitive edge over the others. Not evaluated many of them, not an expert at it still, so can't really say which one of them is the best. But recently, in fact, just yesterday, I wrote about Big Basket. And until then, I didn't know the story of Big Basket, that the founders were already serial entrepreneurs and very seasoned in their field. So once I read about their story, I came to know that how much of personalized products are they offering, how much personalized have they made their business, and that's the reason why they have been able to grow amidst so much competition from other competitors like grofers, local banya, and others. So I think the only way startups can grow, or the only way I see them thriving, is that if they make the products personalized to their customers, because it's at the end of the day, it's all based on your either customers or clients. If you're a product centric business, it's customers. If it's service industry, then it's your clients. So I think if you are personalized in your approach, if you deliver a superlative experience to your clients or customers, I think that is the way forward to thrive, be it in the case of startups or even well established companies. Yeah, so Oyo's business model was something very unique when Ritesh Agarwal thought about it. And, it's a proud thing for us as Indians that after Oyo came into existence, there were many other businesses globally that were being built up in a similar business model fashion. So I think the business model is doing great. If the pandemic wouldn't have happened, it would have been thriving in the most successful way. But as you rightly said, that it's incurring losses right now. It's because of the pandemic that people are not able to go out. It's not because of their will or their wish that they are not going to Oyo rooms or Oyo hotels. So I think these external factors, which are not under our control, are now governing the business of Oyo. But ultimately, it's people's business, and people are still wanting to believe in Oyo's business model. They still want to go to Oyo's properties. So I think once the lockdown is lifted and the situation comes back to normalcy, Oyo's business will start thriving again. But it's good to see that even during such bad times, Ritesh Agarwal had sent out a mail to its employees saying that you will be only working for 4 days in a week, with Wednesday as a holiday apart from Sunday and Saturday. So I think that's a really good development that we have seen from an HR perspective. And I think this is the way he can keep his employees motivated during such times, because it's easy to see people leave businesses when they're not doing well. So the only way to retain them is through care, compassion, and some kind of soft values, which is lacking in today's world, unfortunately. But it's good to see how the leadership team of Oyo is bringing this up and helping its team, stay motivated during such times, and even its customers stay motivated by rolling out certain kind of newsletters or checking up on them via emails or other modes of communication. So I think, like I mentioned once, that if you want to do something in 6 months or 5 months, you will do it. But if you really keep on procrastinating it, you won't be able to even do it in 5 years. So I think we overestimate what needs to be done in smaller time frame and underestimate what we want to do, in a longer period of time. For example, we think that if you want to achieve something in 10 years, that can be done easily. But if you want to achieve something in 10 months, that will take a lot of work. But that's not true. If you want to achieve something in a shorter time frame, you will be able to do it if you organize your each day and every minute of the day well. So I think that's the policies that I also believe in, that 6 months can really change your way of thinking, can change your next 5 to 6 years, given the fact that you're fully giving your time and putting in your efforts. 6-month policy is something which everyone should adapt. And this 6 month doesn't really mean that you have only 6 months deadline. It's up to you. If you want to stretch it up to 8 months, please do it. Just make it personalized for yourself also. Like I said in the last answer, that a business can only thrive if it makes products that is personalized for its customer. Similarly, if you make things personalized for yourself, of course, consider the policy, consider the concepts that other leaders are talking about. But if you make those concepts personalized as per yourself, because you only know how good or how bad you are your own judge, you know yourself better than anybody else. So I think if it takes you 4 months or if it takes you 8 months, doesn't matter. The core of the philosophy, the core of the 6 month policy was that you can do something in a smaller time frame if you focus on your goals. So I think if people do that, they can make their future a better place to live in for themselves. I think my experience there was something which I would I would want to go back in the past and experience again, because it was so good. I had lovely people around. The surrounding was so supportive and collaborative. What I learned more than anything else was that empathy is an important factor for everybody else. I mean, if you are thinking of yourself and you're just making the other person work for the sake of it, the person would lose touch with you. They wouldn't establish any kind of connect. It's always good to think by stepping into others' shoes. So, for example, if I was sick, my boss used to just tell me that please don't work today. I understand that you're sick and I understand how you would be feeling. So even before me asking for it, the boss could see it in my eyes that I'm sick today or I might not be able to work to my fullest. So that kind of unspoken language, the kind of instinctive behavior that we say, that how do you establish with people? That only comes with, of course, first time, and second, patience. I mean, if you try to build that trust between your people, you can really just ensure that no one will poach your people. So I think I have understood that it's not good to be judgmental at all. In our formative years when we are young, we often think that it's good to judge people. It's so much of fun. You get to form a group with that, because negativity attracts people more than the positivity. And that's how some groups are also formed in college, if you see. So I used to always run behind that. I was very judgmental in terms of who I want to talk to or where I want to go. But I think with time, I've realized that if I let go of things, if I stay in my natural element, things will come to me in a more natural way. And those things that come will be permanent things which will remain with me forever. Because life is full of temporariness. I mean, how do you ensure that something stays with you for a longer while? How do you ensure that you build that connect with people? So I think this was one of my experiences where I was trying too hard to get into a group into college. But then when I later on realized that all this is just a matter of time, if it doesn't bother me for more than 10 minutes, it's not even gonna bother me for, after 5 years in my life. So there's no point in trying so hard. Let's just remain natural. Let me just focus on my studies and just naturally talk to people without expecting anything in return. Because whenever you talk to people, you expect that they would now invite you to their parties, they would now invite you to their birthdays, and they would consider you for any group outings that they might have. But when you let go of any of the expectations, when you just naturally speak to people with a happy face, with your smile on, I think that's when you build true relationships, and that's when you build true friendships. Because friendships really form an important part of your life. If you don't have good friends in your life, you might have a bad influence, and you might not be able to progress as much as you would do with good friends around. So I think that's what I had realized, and it was a really good learning experience for me, that just let go of any kind of judgments in your mind. Be open and acceptable to the kind of people you meet, and never expect anything from them in return. Just don't expect any favor. Just talk to them as a natural human being. Can't do great things, do smaller things in a great way. I've always believed in doing ordinary things extraordinarily. So learning would be my career that I'm looking forward to. No, favorite connection on LinkedIn, I would say, is Rahul Subramanian, because I really love his thoughts and the kind of humor that he brings along. I think I'll go with Elon Musk, because that's what we spoke about, his 6-month policy, and there are many other things that I believe in whatever he says. So Elon Musk over Jeff. Of course, stocks any day, they have a history, they have a past, present, and future. Unlike crypto, which just pops out of a meme, and you don't even know if it's going to last long or no. So I prefer going on a predictable path rather than a path of unpredictability. So stocks. Oh, it was about this philosophical content. It was about spirituality, that how it helps you in life, how it helps you build happiness, lots and lots of things put together in it. It wasn't well structured, which I believe. I'm so still in a deep state of shock. How can I write about movies?